Yep, player housing is a thing in this game.
Yep, and we share a free company house.
Well, the question of how to put the Mad King's treasure to good use shows no sign of answering itself. Shall we be about it, Armbold?
Yeah, they just live in dollhouses.
I think the ceiling heights are the same for everyone.
Yeah.
How dare!
I thought nuggets were meant to get poisoned if they're in big houses.
I'm at your beck and call. Now I should be getting back to my own tasks. I'll organize a squad to head down to the ruins and then start preparing for the big meeting. Oh, send Nanamo my regards, Green. And Halls too, if you please. We shall see you on your return. Nice dancing.
Thank you.
You're getting all wet, though. But to get back on track, no, they are not children. They are just very small people.
I am convinced they reproduce by budding.
Just tiny sacks of potatoes. Or popotos.
Speaking of poisoning again.
You are expected, my lord. Please proceed. Yeah. Right, Nanamo, don't be drinking any more alcohol today, will ya? I don't want to be accused of killing royalty a second time.
I thank you for answering my summons in these most interesting times. You have been busy. The liberation of Alamigo will have far-reaching consequences, and there is a matter upon which I would seek your counsel. I speak of Rauban and his future.
That's convenient. We just came here to ask about that one.
All know the tale of his rise from penniless refugee to member of the Syndicate and General of the Immortal Flames. Yet though he has come to call Uldar home, it will never be his homeland. He is a son of Alamigo. And now that she is free, I thought it only a matter of time before he sought my leave to return to her. Indeed, I had resigned myself to his loss. Suffice it to say, I was greatly surprised to hear him speak so lightly of handing over the reins in Alamigo and retaking his place at my side. I will welcome him with open arms, of course. He is my most trusted advisor and my dearest friend. But I have known the man a long time, and beneath that steely gaze, I spied a flicker of doubt. Whether Rauban chooses to remain in Uldar or return to Alamigo, I only wish that he do so with a heart unburdened by guilt or regret. Yet, how can he freely make such a choice, knowing how much I depend on him? It is past time that I learned to discharge my duties as a Sultana alone. I must go forth and see my realm with my own eyes, and hear the wind with my own ears.
You know, this speech would be a lot more convincing if we weren't seeing a stuffed Moogle and Chocobo on her bed.
I just can't take it seriously because she looks like a fucking child.
Wonderful. Allow me a moment to change into something a touch less conspicuous, and I will join you outside.
Perchance you remember Lilira, the merchant's daughter. This is the persona I assume when I venture beyond the palace walls to observe my subjects unnoticed. Ordinarily, Papa-chan would accompany me, but for this particular outing I need an advisor, not a minder. And that is why I requested your company. Over the course of your many adventures, you have met with people from all walks of life, in every corner of Eosia, and I would make use of your worldly experience. Now, let us be on our way. Our first destination is Stone Throw, just beyond the Gate of Nald. Look upon this procession of tattered tents. These refugees camp in squalor at the mercy of the elements and Thanaland's predators both. The city's mighty walls offer safety, but the streets overflow with people as it is, and unless blessed by the hand of Nald himself, no refugee could ever hope to afford a dwelling in Uldar. 20 years have passed since the fall of Alamigo and 5 since the calamity, yet the plight of the poor has grown more desperate, not less. As Sultana, the blame falls upon me. Your hands have been tied, especially with the Syndicate and all.
Yeah.
Yes, my authority is limited, and that is an obstacle I must work to overcome. Shall we press on? I would follow the road to the unholy air. Shantoto is a Final Fantasy XI, the Taratara race. In this game, they're called Lalafels.
I thought they were called potatoes in this game.
No, that's just a community joke.
I know.
And they don't have potatoes in this game here, they have popotos. There's a clear difference. Get your lore right. God. And the question is there a mountainous rainforest region? It was here, in this wholly unremarkable place, that my mother and father met their doom. I was but a child at the time. My parents were returning from an inspection of our interests in eastern Thanaland when an untimely rockslide crushed their carriage. To this day, it is not certain if the incident was simple misfortune or an expertly planned assassination. Ralbon once offered to reopen the investigation and bring me the truth he assumed I must surely crave, but I refused. Even if my parents' deaths were orchestrated by the Monetarist, we could only have brought their hirelings to justice. The true villains, those who plot to put me on the throne as a biddable puppet, were ever beyond our reach. Thus did I plan to strip the merchants of their power and place our nation in the hands of its citizens, quite unaware of the consequences of my actions would have for you and yours. I shudder to think how many goodly souls paid the price of my naivety. But I am no longer a child reciting words with witless obedience, and I will not be used as a pawn in the Monetarist's damnable games. Forgive me for my outburst. You are one of the few people to whom I can speak my mind. Come, let us return to Uldar and visit the Colosseum.
Because we don't talk back to her?
I'm sure we're giving some kind of responses in character. From the moment I became Sultana, I found myself thrust into an endless parade of document signing and ceremonies. For years I simply signed where I was told to sign, and sat where I was told to sit, blissfully oblivious to what any of it meant. Yet one good thing did come from that ignominious chapter in my life, for it was during an official visit to the Colosseum that I first met Ralbon. The match I had been invited to attend was not at all what I expected. They had pitted the Bull of Alamigo against a dozen or so rival gladiators. Blinker though as I was, I would not stand for so obvious an injustice, and demanded to see a fair fight, one man against another, and my royal wish was duly granted. It was not until later I learned of the gambling ring which had arranged for Ralbon to die on the sands that day. Regardless, my intervention meant that Ralbon had but a single opponent to dispatch, which he duly did, and when he knelt before me to receive the winner's purse, he swore that he would one day offer me his blade in service. Surrounded as I was by liars and manipulators, I confess I dismissed it a pleasant piece of theater. But as you know, Ralbon is a man of his word. Though it took him another 5 years of fighting on the Blood Sands, he amassed a fortune so great as to not buy not only his freedom, but a seat on the Syndicate, and then I had my blade. I don't know, against Ralbon, 1 against 12 seems like a fair fight.
Grace, you mustn't! The danger is too great! Please, Your Grace, come back! I beg of you!
It seems you're the one who needs looking after, Master Sham. Raubon!
Your Grace, I have kept the promise made.
So you have, and in turn, so too shall I keep mine. With your winnings, you have become one of the 6 most wealthy souls in all Uldar, and so, as tradition dictates, Raubon Aldin, you have earned yourself a seat on the Syndicate. May your new station garner you still greater glories.
I am honored, Your Grace, and vow to serve with every fiber of my being from this day till my last.
Happy little potato.
Long live the Sultana!
Hey, you
and
said it
long
wasn't a
live
potato, it was a
Uldar!
potato.
Oh, shush. Words cannot well express what that man means to me. There are others who care deeply for my well-being, of course. Papa Shan's love for me is that of a grandsire for his grandchild. But upon matters of governance, I cannot turn to bodyguards and maidservants for counsel. Raubon, with the authority of a syndicate position, was the first sword I could wield. His was the only edge which would cut the strings that bound me. We must make haste. My absence will not go unnoticed by the Sultan's Sworn for long, and there are other places I would visit. To the Azareth ossuary! No, it's Arzaneth ossuary. Ah, why are these names so hard to pronounce? When the calamity threatened, Raubon led the Alliance forces into battle on the plains of Katano, and I remained here. I pray with all my heart that Alcon Louiswa would have the power to rouse the 12. Since that day, I have made a custom of visiting this shrine during each of my little excursions. Here I seek the blessing of Thal, reflect upon my choices, ask myself if I am fulfilling my duties as a Sultana. You are rightfully celebrated as a champion because you led the line in 100 battles for the good of Eorzea. In much the same way, I believe the measure of a monarch lies in how much she leads her people in times of adversity. If I am to be Sultana worthy of the name, I cannot turn a blind eye to the troubles facing Uldar. I have chosen my path, Green. With Alamigo now free from Imperial chains, I finally see a way to aid the refugees. Already, many displaced Alamegans seek to begin the long trek home. And as you well know, our artisan school shall be waiting to accept any who wish to learn new trades. Realistically, however, it will take years for such training to yield tangible benefits. But we do not have years. These people will need shelter and employment if they are to survive, and this time the Uldan Treasury shall provide. Precisely where and how to allocate the necessary funds is, of course, another question. Why not seek the advice of one who employs refugees?
That's what I said.
Yeah, I don't think I should ask a syndicate how to handle money.
Yeah.
A wise suggestion. Perhaps a visit to the Gold Saucer is in order. Its proprietor is a member of the syndicate, and he's one of the few who pay refugees a fair wage. Ah, yes, Godbert Manderville. Good man. I wonder, are you acquainted with Godbert Manderville? Yes, I am. Multiple occasions, actually. One time, the man asked me to rub oil on his skin. That was a weird day. And I need
You
not
a Manderville man.
Yep. And I need not explain his eccentric nature. Let us make our way to the landing, and I'll see that word is sent to the Gold Saucer. Godbert should be only too glad to receive us. I have ridden aboard a public airship before, but this shall be my first visit to the Gold Saucer. I must confess to some excitement. Just don't get into gambling too much.
I'm sure her kingdom can handle it.
Well, I don't think we should be teaching a ruler how to gamble.
But isn't that just what all of her decisions are? Gambling on the future of her country?
Ugh. I heard descriptions of its splendor, yet I never dreamed it would be so bright and inviting. Yeah, casinos tend to do that, ma'am. No, I couldn't possibly. We did not come here to fritter away the royal coin. Well, at least she has some good head on her shoulders. Godbert will be expecting us.
Also, she's got much of shoulders.
Ha. Come, let us head directly to the lounge and ignore these gaudy temptations. Alright, you go ahead. I need to pick up my cacpots for the day.
Speaking of gaudy temptations, you go straight into them.
Look, I have to get my gold saucer points, alright? Are you sure I don't have time for one chocobo race? No, I probably don't.
Did you sure you really want to watch that? I thought slots were banned on Twitch.
Shh. I believe this is where we are to meet Lord Mandeville. Shall we sit while we wait his coming?
My apologies, Your Grace. I've kept you waiting.
Apologies are necessary, Godbert. My request was sudden, and you were kind to make yourself available at such short notice.
When this intrepid green slime and the Sultana herself come calling, there is no more important engagement.
I have no idea what Godbert's voice is supposed to be. I'm just gonna wing it. As to the purpose of my visit, I would have your thoughts on how the Crown might best aid the refugees residing in Vanaland. You are aware, I'm sure, that many of Alamigo's displaced sons and daughters long to return to their newly liberated homeland. And you are also aware... Oh, there's an event going on in Gold Saucer.
There is.
And you are also aware of how they will suffer without shelter and work to sustain them. I would use our nation's wealth to spare them that suffering. What advice have you for me on the matter of how it might best be distributed?
The usual circumstances of our meeting and of Your Grace's choice of companion will suggest to me a desire for an honest and unvarnished opinion. I shall give you one. My advice to you is stop. Taxing Uldar's wealth to save Alamigan refugees is a terrible, terrible idea.
You oppose my proposition?
Most empathically, I agree with Your Grace that the refugees must have housing and employment. What profit is there for Uldar in this arrangement?
Profit? After all you have gone from for Girabanya's displace, I thought you the very last person to seek benefit from their misfortune.
Forgive me, Your Grace, but you appear to be laboring under a misapprehension. It is a fine endeavor to support one's fellow man. I feel, however, that your stance is one born of pity. Your intent is to save the refugees, is it not? For all our potential, we are indolent creatures by nature. If unconditional charity is all we know, then we begin to rely upon it, to expect it. And then we must consider Uldar's own poor and downtrodden. Should they hear of you spending the nation's coin, not to improve their lot, but to nurture the distant citizens of Alamigo, it is unlikely they will applaud your generosity. Surely it is not Your Grace's intention to foster new resentments, but to spread goodwill.
Indeed. And any support I pledge to refugees must promote self-sufficiency, whilst also serving the interests of the people in Uldar.
Exactly so. Such an arrangement will create far more equitable relationship with the returning Alamigans, even as it generates the revenue required to win the approval of your subjects.
You have given me much to ponder, Lord Mandeville. I thank you for your candor. Prophet, the thought never even crossed my mind. But standing about lamenting my naivety will not do anyone any good. I shall consider my lesson learned and press on. Green, are you perchance acquainted with any successful merchants? At my time that philanthropy is obliged to reap a profit, it would seem wise to consult someone with a knack for business.
Well... Depends on how comfortable you are with potentially shady accountants. Oh, Hancock, right. Well, I guess potentially shady accountant also fits him as well. My first thought was Tataru,
Yeah.
but...
Ordinarily, I would not
I mean, they're
trust...
hanging out.
Yeah, that's true.
Ordinarily, I would not trust any agent of East Aldenar Trading Company. But if you hold this Hancock fellow in high esteem, I am content to be led by you. You may repay my faith in journeying to distant Kugane and speaking with them on my behalf. Eager though I am to visit those shores, I have not the leisure for a lengthy sea voyage. Now, assuming you will travel as adventurers are wont to do, I shall await your report by the Aetherite in Ul'dah. A fair journey to you, Green, and a swift one, if you please.
Oh no, I seem to have clicked the wrong Aetherite and actually went over to the leap of faith that's happening.
Oh, Jesus.
It'll be one game, I promise. It'll be real quick, in and out.
Oh, Jesus. Now I'm in it.
Oh, right, you're also in it.
Green, to what do I owe the pleasure? Are you here on business?
Kind of.
I beg your pardon? Her Grace the Sultana would have my opinion on how to invest the wealth of Ul'dah? My dear Green, I have you to thank for this recognition, I am sure, and I am flattered that you came to me, truly flattered. But why settle for a lowly apprentice when you could have the master? Upon matters of profit, there is no living soul better qualified to advise Her Grace than Chairman Lolorito, a man whose morning exertions are said to fill his garderobe with gold.
Jesus.
I should be happy
Fucking
to...
Japan.
Why?
So back in the day in Japan, literally, your shit was more valuable than gold because it was used as fertilizer. So people would literally collect their own and their slaves' poopies and sell them for lots of money.
Huh, neat.
So Japan was a major exporter of poop as well.
That's kind of weird history, but okay.
It's true though. Look it up.
I mean, I seen stories about how some islands like sell dried seagull poop as fertilizer.
Guano is worth a lot to this day.
Huh. More you know.
Pretty sure a lot of the fertilizer I buy is made out of it.
You could always go check.
Not really, because it's purified down, so there's no way of knowing what it originally was
Isn't there
without
like
trade secrets leaking.
Is there like an ingredients list or anything?
No, because it's like pure, like potassium, calcium, whatever.
Chemical names, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I should be happy to arrange a meeting for you, say at the Scion's former headquarters in Thanos. Well, that's just kind of insulting. The Waking Sands would seem a suitably neutral venue for negotiations, don't you think? Very well, Green, and may your dealings prove fruitful. I don't know, the Vesper Bay is kind of a soft spot for everyone, I think.
Wait, if you teleport from there,
Oh, fine.
then I'm probably not gonna get the teleport.
Fine, I'll get you to teleport.
Thank you, bestie.
Cheapskate.
Hey, you always get on my case when I do the teleporting for us.
Ugh.
So make up your mind on what you want.
I'm arbitrary. Not making up my mind is one of my best skills.
You like pineapple on pizza?
No.
Like pineapple on pizza?
Maybe.
Welcome back, Green. Did your merchant friend have any useful advice to share?
Not one you're gonna like.
With Lolorito? And you agreed to this? I am well aware of his standing in the field of business, but I hope to keep the monitor's arms at arm's length, and him in particular. Nay, I cannot live in fear of the man. I must learn how to treat with him if I am to rule Ul'dah effectively.
But to be fair, he was the one that conspired to let you live. I think that deserves some points. Merit.
Maybe.
Maybe. Even if it was for his own purpose, motivations.
Very well. I will meet with Lolorito. Let us go ahead to the Waking Sands and prepare for his coming. So this is where the Scions first congregated. I have heard many tales, but I never had occasion to visit. To work then. The hour of the meeting draws near, and I would gather my thoughts. Pray see to it that we have the appointed room to ourselves.
Ah, good old Vesper Bay.
A personal summons from the Scions. This must be important business indeed. Though, if it concerns anything so underhand as an assassination, I fear I can be of little help.
Oh, he's just mocking us with that shit-eating grin. I don't think a mask is going to help you, Your Grace.
You have made your point. It is indeed unsettling to find oneself seated across from an impassive mask.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna get myself some liquor.
Okay.
There, would this better please your grace? Or should I address you as Lady Lilira?
Nay, the deception has served its purpose. I am glad to see you found amusement in my little jest, Lord Lolorito, but shall we proceed to the business at hand?
By all means. I must say I am most eager to hear your proposal.
Simply put, I would aid the refugees camped in Thanalan in their efforts to return to Alamigo. The reparations you paid in the wake of your earlier misdemeanors.
Alright, I am
will be used
back
to fund
with
the endeavor,
yuzu sparkling soda and some yuzu liqueur and some club soda just in case.
Okay. Sorry.
Sorry for what?
No, I was just trying to listen to stuff.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know why I apologize, but well.
But this plan is not intended to benefit the displaced alone. I would make of this an investment which shall enrich Ul'dah and Alamigo both. And who better to consult on matters of profit than the wealthiest man in all of Thanalan? I beseech you then, Lord Lolorito, share with us your mercantile wisdom.
Ah, 'twould seem your grace has matured beyond acts of earnest yet misplaced charity. Pray tell me more. To summarize, in return for facilitating the repatriation of refugees and assisting in the establishment of new industry in Alamigo, you ask that a proportion of all subsequent profits be promised to Ul'dah. Huh, I am impressed, Your Grace. 'Tis an elegant solution, albeit one lacking certain crucial details, specifically which industry and where.
Well, she is funding a goldsmith academy, but I'm not sure if that'll be profitable anytime soon.
How swiftly you identified the weakness in my plan, just as I knew you would. Your travels have taken you across the length and breadth of Gir Abania, and you know the land far better than I. Which of the settlements you visited would best provide a home for our refugees? Which has the greatest potential to flourish, given the appropriate investment?
Well, we do have Alagana with the newly discovered ore quarries of ores, but I'm not sure that'll be enough.
Yeah, Alagana.
This would be probably easier to answer if I answered all the side quests, or did all the side quests in the area. I guess given my current knowledge, I'm going to say Alagana.
That's what I said the first time.
Yes, Quarry Town certainly does carry the potential for profit. At least it would do were it situated anywhere near a lucrative market. It would cost more to transport the materials than they are worth, in my humble opinion.
What happens with the Alagiri then? Not sure what's actually around that area.
Yes, if a
Isn't
stable
that,
trade
the
route could be
big wall
established between
area?
Uldar
Yeah,
and Alamigo,
but I'm not-
then Alagiri would once more become an important waypoint. But while such growth would greatly benefit its current residents, I'm afraid it could sustain little beyond that.
Yeah, but I don't know what like Alagiri's economic lore is. I guess the only place left is the Saltery. Clearly you want me to say the Saltery.
Ah, yes, that desolate little village on the shore of Loch Seld. I know the Saltery and its products well. The Imperial invasion brought an end to their more widespread distribution, much to the dismay of many a wealthy gourmand, myself included. Salt has ever been a transformative ingredient, and in this instance, I dare say, it could transform a modicum of effort into a mountain of gil.
The local citizens will need to be consulted, of course, but I trust the East Aldenard Trading Company can be relied upon to provide its assistance in negotiating a mutually beneficial arrangement.
Naturally, Your Grace. I shall dispatch representatives well-versed in the extraction of this white gold and wring every last ons of profit from its production. The Loch's bounty will contribute to Alamigo's enrichment, whilst easing the burden on the bull's aching shoulders, just as Your Grace desired.
A deal is struck then.
I fear it will be many years before I feel comfortable in taking part in such negotiations. But I shall not complain. We have piqued Lolorito's interest and secured his invaluable expertise. Thank you, Green. I could not have done it without you. Our course is decided. I shall return to the palace and have my ministers begin work on implementing the particulars of the plan. If I could prevail upon you one more time, Green, I would ask that you convey the details of our negotiations to Commander Hex on your return to Alamigo. My thanks again. Together we have laid the groundwork for an endeavor which promises to benefit the peoples of Alamigo and Uldar both. Green, you're back. What did Nanama... Oh, sorry. Are you allowed to talk about your audience with the Sultana? Well, you're talking about it just fine.
Yeah. A little late for that, buddy.
So, Raubon says he's going to return to Ul'dah, but she isn't sure if he wants to. Tell us something we don't know. But I'm pleased to hear she's committed to helping our refugees come home. And this plan to revitalize the Saltery does make a lot of sense. Quite how you convinced her to seek Lord Lorita's help is another question. After all that has happened, he's the very last person I would expect her to turn to for advice. But on a more practical note, Lise, assuming the interim government elects to accept Uldah's proposal, I have one caveat I should like you to include in the bargain. Alamigo must be permitted to cover a portion of the investment. We have a fortune at our disposal after all, and allowing Ul'dah to provide the entirety of the capital will afford Lolorito too much control. Honestly, Alphinaud, it's like Kugane never happened. What exactly does a ruthless profiteer have to do to earn your trust? But yes, you do make a good point. First things first though, we need to discuss the proposal with the Saltery's residents. Whiskar, how do you fancy explaining the Sultana's plan to your grandfather? I'd like to hear what Watt thinks of the idea before agreeing to anything.
Right away, Commander. Would you mind coming along, Green? I might need you to fill in the details.
Then I shall come as well. Should Watt wish to discuss figures, my knowledge of the nation's finances may prove useful.
What manner of mischief brings your young uns to Old Watt this time, eh? You want to rebuild the Saltery, Grandad? Green, tell him about the deal. Well, bugger me. If I never had the coin or the hands to put the place back to how it was, it sounds like that's about to change. There's just one small wrinkle in your plan. Doesn't account for all the nasties queuing up to eat anyone who goes near the shore. King used to send soldiers to call the buggers, but the Imperials weren't about to help the likes of us. Don't worry, Grandad, we'll take care of all that. Commander Hex have been talking about starting up regular patrols, and I'm sure she'd assign me to the lock if I asked. I'd appreciate that, Whiskar, my lad. Surely I would. So, does this mean you've gotten better with that blade of yours? I've been training, aye, but mostly to kill Imperials. You have some experience hunting monsters, don't you, Green? Think you could cast an eye over a few of the local beasties and teach me how to deal with them? Let's not waste any time then. I'll see you by the lock.
Whilst you are busy attending to the local fauna, I shall have Master Watt explain to me what exactly is required to restore the Saltery to its former glory. Good hunting. Right then, Green. I got a spyglass here you can use to take a closer look at those pests. Once you got their measure, you can tell me what to do, and we'll see how well I get on. Search your surroundings for yabbies. You may move the camera as well as zoom in and out. Target a yabby and inspect it with left click.
We'll have a hard time finding the yabby. See? You can't find the yabby, now can you?
No, not at all. Oh.
What would its weak point be?
Not at all what you expect.
Its soft underbelly?
That's what I kept thinking, but no.
Tips of its horns? No. Ooh. Oh, hold on, I saw something. The jaw. That is definitely not what I expected.
Yeah. It also did not let me click it several times. So I thought I got it wrong with the jaw, so I'm like, okay, go back to the belly. There's nothing here. The feetsies?
The yabby's entire body is protected by a hard carapace, but the underside of the head looks soft and vulnerable. As opposed to the other parts of the underside, I guess. Ah, looks like you found a yabby. They say hitting their shells like smashing a rock. Any suggestions?
Just hit it as hard as you can.
No, that'd probably get him killed. Aim for the soft underside of the head.
vulnerable under the head, are they? Right then. Wish me luck. Leroy! Oh hey, it worked. Thanks, Green. I did just as you told me and the wave king went down like a sack of popotos. Let's find something else. I think I can handle the yabbies now, so we should try something different. What else is out there? Search your surroundings for Theobads. Ah, these things.
You'll never figure it out.
Apparently it has to be the right eye specifically and not the left.
Yeah, apparently. But really, you should just hit it hard. Just hit it really hard.
Are you answering you should hit it hard as hard? Hit it hard?
I'm too chicken.
Oh.
You should do it.
The Theobad's hands are large and powerful, but destroying its crystallized core should render the Soul Golem inanimate. He sends power pulsating from behind its brow. Ugh, a Theobad. How do I defeat one of those? Fine, for you, just for you, this once, I shall answer it. Just hit it really, really hard as you can. It's what I do all the time. As hard as I can. Oh, simple strategies are often the best. Here goes.
Well, does it work? Is he dead? No, it worked. See, it worked. It didn't matter.
Ugh, it's not easy. Fighting with the liberator Alamigo watching your every move. But I got the job done. Thanks for the advice. I feel a lot better prepared for my patrols now. Well, next time stab it in the eye. Eddie Road, we should head back to the Saltery before Grandad starts to worry I've been snipped into pieces and fed to a Yabby's hatchlings. I see you returned in one piece. Dealt with those beasties then, did you? I fought them myself, after a bit of instruction from Green here. Once I've shared what I've learned with the others, we should have no trouble keeping the shoreline clear. Good lad. Fine young man you become, Whiska. A fine young man indeed. Too often of late I hear tales of folk over the city, drunk on victory and hungry for revenge. Their heads stuck firmly in the past. But we need to set our sights on the future. On things which will improve our lot. Things like getting the Saltery ready to welcome our long-lost countrymen.